Now that we've downloaded our transactions into QuickBooks, it's time to match them up against the checking account. Maybe there's transactions that you've done in your physical bank that you haven't yet put into QuickBooks. This is a great way to do expense reimbursement. Maybe you've been using your debit or credit card to buy lunch on the road while you're on the job. Those statements are downloaded into QuickBooks, and now we can tag those under meals and travel expense. A great reason alone to download your physical bank activity into QuickBooks is so that you don't have to input information twice. You can reconcile using this banking tool, or you can automatically add everything into QuickBooks directly using the bank feed that we downloaded from the last video. At the click of a button, you can enter line items into your check register and assign them to accounts, such as categorized expense accounts for reimbursing. Let's do that right now. Select Banking from the top menu, hover your mouse over Bank Feeds, and then choose Bank Feed Center. In the last video, we downloaded and imported our bank feed. This is going to bring us to that main screen that we saw before at the end of the last video. It's important to note that these bank account values are not going to match if you're following along with the exercise files. This bank account information is what I've downloaded from my demo bank account. So what you're going to see here are items that you've downloaded from your bank. To see the transactions, click the blue Transaction List button. This is going to show us what we need to import into QuickBooks. I can see the list of transactions that directly came from my physical bank statements. If QuickBooks finds any that definitely matches transactions already in my check register in QuickBooks, it's going to automatically match those. So anything that shows up in this list without a check mark next to it is something that QuickBooks doesn't recognize. That is, something that doesn't already have a corresponding line item to which the dollar amounts must match those that are already on the check register. A quick way to see what's matched is to click inside the status bar and choose Auto Matched. It's going to show you accounts that have automatically matched up transactions that were already in the check register. In this case, there were 2 large deposits that matched up with large deposits that were already in the check register in QuickBooks. The DEP field in the Type field tells me it was a deposit. I can see the date, and all the way to the right, the deposit amount. I can also see what account it came from. When I recorded the deposit in QuickBooks, this is what I put it under. Remember, it could be any type of income account. For example, I have my tastings and cooking demos. QuickBooks now has the transaction downloaded, it matches the balance total, and that's how it knew to automatically match it. QuickBooks doesn't need me to do it again. This time, I'll click on Status and change it to Need Your Review. This way, I don't need to see what's automatically matched. I only need to see what I have to do manually. These are things that I need to bring over and enter into QuickBooks because they're not already there. Let's take a look at this online bill payment billing fee. This came from my bank, and it's a bank fee. I'm going to click inside Action and then choose Select on the right-hand side. I'll choose Add More Details. I need to tell QuickBooks who the payee is. In this case, it's my bank, so I'll call the payee Citizens Bank. Once I click out of that field, I'm told that Citizens Bank is not in the name list, so I'll choose Quick Add, and I'll add them as a vendor. Now I need to choose an account that goes along with this charge. In this case, it's an expense account. I'll click the down arrow next to Account. I already have an expense account in here that QuickBooks gives me. It's called Bank Service Charges. I'll choose that one, and then click Add to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is going to prompt me to create a rule. Anytime I download a transaction and the description contains the following text, it's going to rename the payee to Citizens Bank and categorize it to the Bank Service Charges expense account. This is a great way to find out at tax time how much I'm paying in bank service fees. I'll click the blue OK button, and now a check mark has appeared that has automatically been matched up by QuickBooks. In fact, it found another occurrence of it. The nice thing about setting up rules is that QuickBooks will automatically match this the next time it comes into QuickBooks. QuickBooks now knows about the vendor and it knows about the bank service charge. The more rules I create, the less work I have to do when I download these bank transactions. Now I can go through and repeat the process. I can change these, match them up, and put them into QuickBooks. If I have a very long list of transactions and there's no way I could get to it in one sitting, I can click Finish Later on the top left-hand side of the screen. I'll click Yes on Save and Close. And now I'll close out of my transaction list by clicking the X on the top right-hand side. Anytime now, I can select Banking, Bank Feeds, and then choose Bank Feed Center. This way, I can click on my transaction list to return to the marking of all my transactions into QuickBooks.